with me that a lot of times we go through difficult situations and painful situations? Raise your hand if you have ever gone through something very difficult. Raise your hand. 2 days ago, on Thursday and Friday, there was a funeral. And I was thinking, and I was looking at two of the youth that I have shared time, that I know them, and I was seeing them, how hard it was for them because his dad has just passed away. And I was just thinking, man, one day I'm going to have to be there with my dad or mom. And I have seen a lot of things. I have seen my grandparents, my grandfather pass away, and it was very difficult. But it really caught my attention that, while I was in the funeral, one of the guys who is he was a little older than you, he's part of the youth, he stood up and he gave a little speech. And when I saw him, I never heard this guy speaking in Spanish. He always does everything in English. But when I heard him, and I'm like, man, I didn't know this guy can speak fluent in Spanish. And he gave a little, he was just saying thank you to everyone because you guys are here. And he said, I'm going to continue. God is going to do whatever he needs to do. But his words and everything that came out of his mouth, he was so mature. And I'm like, wow. And really caught my attention because I know that they're going through a difficult situation, but I believe that everything happened for a reason in our lives. And I believe what Romans chapter 8:28 says. Romans chapter 8:28 says that all things happen for good for the ones who love Him. And I was thinking about the pain that these two young guys are going through. And a lot of times when we go through pain, we don't like to go through pain. We don't like to go through difficult situations because it's not fun. And I wanted you to read a passage here with me. This is in 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 12. And this is the Apostle Peter talking to the church, saying, dear friends, don't be surprised at the trials that you're going through, as if something strange were happening to you. And I like what verse 13 says. It says, instead, be very glad, for these trials make you partner with Christ in His sufferings, so that you will have the wonderful joy of seeing His glory when it's revealed to all the world. Verse 14, if you are insulted because you bear the name of Christ, you will be blessed, for the glorious Spirit of God rests upon you. So I want you to look at this. I want you to look at this verse 12. It says, dear friends, don't be surprised at the trials that you're going through, as if something strange were happening to you. I'm going to tell you here, and maybe you will not like my message here. But I'm going to tell you, you will go through difficult situations in your life. That's a fact. You will go through pain. You will go through processes. You will go through situations that are going to be out of your control. But the Word of God says, dear friends, don't be surprised at the trials that you're going through, as if something strange were happening to you. Instead, be very glad. For these trials will make you partners with Christ. How many of you guys want to be partners with God, with Jesus? Amen? So, if you want to be a partner with Jesus, if you want to be a partner with Him, you must go through trials. You must go through difficult situations. I'm here to preach His gospel, to tell you that being a Christian is not going to be easy. If you come to church and you think that once you come to church, your life will be fixed, and the fact that you were born in the church and you think that there's not going to be difficult situations, I'm telling you right now, you are wrong. You are incorrect, because there will be difficult situations. But I could tell you something, that God is your partner and God is with you. And sometimes He allows pain, and sometimes He allows, Él permite que vayamos sobre situaciones difíciles. And remember how I named this message, no pain, no gain. A lot of times when you go through the last set, let's say when you're exercising, you are building those muscles that need to grow. A lot of times when you're going through the last mile that you have to run, you're building yourself to become a better runner, to have more endurance. So, look at what verse 19 says. So if you are suffering in a matter that pleases God, keep on doing what is right, and trust your lives to the God who created you, and He will never fail you. We have heard that God will never fail you. So let me tell you, God will never fail you. Even though at times you might feel like you're alone. How many times do you have feel like you're alone? Amen to that? Or just me, just Carlos, just Kalin feel like, okay, so I guess I'm weird, right? I'm pretty sure at times you feel like you're alone. I'm pretty sure you don't understand sometimes why your parents argue. Sometimes you might not understand why your parents are not together. Or maybe you don't understand why you're going through these difficult situations. But everything has a reason. I want to talk to you about someone, and I'm going to stay here, and I'm going to talk to you about 3 elements that are super important while you go through pain. I'm going to talk to you about 3 things that are super important while you go through pain. Are you with me, church? Are you with me, church? All right. So I want to talk to you about Isaac. You know that Isaac was blessed because God blessed Abraham. And God blessed Abraham, and He said, you know what? I'm going to make you the father of many nations. And then Abraham they couldn't bear child, no podían tener hijos. And God gave him Isaac as the promised son. But then Isaac, I want you to go to Genesis chapter 26, verse 12, and I want you to look at this with me. Look at what it says here. When Isaac planted his crops that year, he harvested 100 times more grain than he planted. For the Lord blessed him. He became a rich man, and his wealth continued to grow. He acquired so many flocks, sheep, and goats, herds of cattle, and servants that the Philistines became jealous of him. So there was this man right here that he was planting, and everything that he was doing, it was becoming successful. There was this man right here that it was blessed by God. That the word says that he was when he planted, he harvested 100 times more grain than what he had already planted. So he got he was planting, he was doing some work, and he was seeing the results quick. I was thinking, probably Isaac in that moment, he'll feel like, I feel great. I'm planting and I'm getting 100 times what I'm doing. And this is maybe how you feel right now. Or maybe that's not maybe how you feel right now. Maybe you feel that you plant, estás plantando, estás sembrando, and you don't see nothing happening. Like I'm telling you here, I've been here, and God has given me the privilege to be with the youth and just serving with my wife for almost 13 years. And when I see the younger generation coming into the youth service, I feel very blessed because I know we've been planting and planting and planting, but I feel that something good is coming. And I feel like God is going to use each one of you guys, but we have to understand that el que da el crecimiento es Cristo. Amén. So quiero que miremos la vida de Isaac y quiero que miremos que el Señor lo estaba bendiciendo y que los filisteos became jealous of him. Miremos qué pasa en el verso 15. So the Philistines fill up all of Isaac's well with dirt. These were the wells that he had been dug by the servants of his father Abraham. Look at what verse 16 says. Finally, Abimelech ordered Isaac to leave the country, go somewhere else. He says, for you have become too powerful. So look at what happened here. Back in the day, they didn't have like what we have now. They didn't have water, that comes through pipes, right? And they can just have water. And back in the day, the only way that they could have water is by digging holes, deep holes, and getting wells. Do you guys know what a well is? Well, do you guys know what un pozo? ¿Saben qué es un pozo? ¿Sí? Ok. Entonces, Isaac, dice la palabra que Isaac le estaba yendo bien en todo. Le estaba yendo bien y que él sembraba y cosechaba 100 veces más de lo que él estaba sembrando. Pero me llama la atención que en el momento que cuando le estaba yendo todo bien, los filisteos empezaron a poner celosos y empezaron a sentir rivalidad contra Isaac. Y empezaron a hacer algo que iba a lastimar, que iba a dañar a Isaac y la gente que estaba con él. Y miren lo que pasa en el verso 15. Dice que los filisteos empezaron a llenar los pozos de Isaac with dirt. How many times you are doing something, and everything is going right, and then all of a sudden you feel like people, instead of helping you, te empiezan a tirar cosas, so they're throwing you dirt, and they're not helping you to succeed. And you start feeling pain because everything that you have, your provision, water, is so important. If you have ever been in Israel, I'm going to tell you, I was there 2 years ago. Israel is a desertic place. I was with my wife and pastor. You remember El? It's very dry. So I cannot just imagine, Isaac being blessed, and all of a sudden people coming to him and say, guess what? The well that we have over there is full of dirt. We don't have no more water anymore. And he was living, and the king of the Philistines, Abimelech, came and he told him, you know what? Go somewhere else, he said, for you have become too powerful. Because Isaac was being blessed, maybe like you. Maybe like the person you have right next to you. The grace of God is upon each one of us in here. And the world, the people will not understand the things that you will do. People will not understand why you come to church on a Saturday night. They don't understand a lot of things that we do because their vision is so short. And what I'm looking in here is, look at this. Water, it was so important, for pastors, for the sheep, for the goats, for everything that they have. It was like, to have water was more than important. And the word says that all his enemies were filling the wells with dirt. But I want to talk to you about something here. So in the beginning I said, no pain, no gain. Right? No pain, no gain. So look at what it says here. The thief's purpose, who's talking about Satan, is to steal, to kill, and destroy. I'm going to say that again. The thief's purpose is to steal and kill and destroy. My purpose is to give them a rich and satisfying life. How many of you guys want to have a rich and satisfying life? Raise your hand. I think we all do here. There is someone who is, I don't know, but ever happened to you that do you want to do something for God, and when you just determine yourself to do something for God, you start seeing that it becomes very difficult. And I'm telling you here, we've been doing this for all the glory to God with my wife, and some of the youth, some of the leadership are doing it for many, many years. But it hasn't been easy. We have seen people come and go. We have seen people that they just last for a little time and they don't continue because the trials and the situations become very difficult and tough. And you know what? I have entendido algo, that there is one person that is not happy when you are doing God's work, which is the enemy. The enemy will not be happy when you become a threat to the enemy. When you start doing what God called you to do, he will not be happy, and he will try to steal, he will try to kill, he will try to destroy what God has for you. And you know how he does it? He doesn't do it and he just show up with a little big knife and a tail and say, hey, here I am. I'm here to destroy you. Sometimes we think like the movies, right? Satan is right there, and you just think about with the red outfit, right? With the big tail and with the little fork, right? And you think that that's how he shows up. You know how it works? It works like the same way it was happening with Isaac. He said that people were becoming jealous of him because God was with him. And they say, you know what? We can do anything. God is blessing this man, but we have an idea. Let's just, all the wells that he has, let's just fill them with dirt. And the dirt is going to stop the water to keep coming, and they might die. That's probably what they were thinking. And it really it got to my heart, youth, because when Abimelech, in the same chapter, Genesis chapter 26, he told him, finally, you know what? Leave this country. Go somewhere else. He was probably already upset. But what really caught my attention, that in verse 11, right before before Abimelech sees all the blessings that Isaac was receiving, in verse 11, he says, then Abimelech issued a public proclamation. Anyone who touches this man and his wife will be put to death. So help me to understand this, church. Help me to understand this, church. The man, this king Abimelech, like Isaac at some point. Right? Look at what verse 11 said. Right? Ever happened to you that sometimes you feel like people like you, and then all of a sudden you start doing something, some things for God, and you start doing things that you feel that God is calling you to do, and all of a sudden you feel that people don't like you no more. Are we here, church? Ever happened to you? Ever happened to you that you feel like doing something, and then all of a sudden, instead of you becoming the people like you, people start feeling like that they don't want to be around you. Nobody wants to help you. Nobody wants to do it because I don't know what it is, but instead of like you feeling like you finding a help, you feel like nobody's there for you. And God was just telling me to tell you here, that you look at this with me, that the king Abimelech was telling Isaac to leave and to tell him, go away. When in the same chapter, Abimelech told him, you know what? Anyone who touches man and his wife will put in jail. That doesn't make any sense, right? That doesn't make it. The same guy who was telling, don't touch this man, and a few verses later, he said, you know what? You got to go. So Isaac said the following. So look at what, I want to read you something here, and I'm going to come back to this verse. I want to look at verse 17. So Isaac moved away to Gerar Valley, where he set up their tents and settled down. He opened the wells. Look at what he says. He reopened the wells that his father had dug, which the Philistines had filled after Abraham's death. Isaac also restored the names Abraham had given them. So look at what he did. So Isaac went, and this king Abimelech told him, you know what? You got to get out of here. I used to like you, but I don't like you anymore because you're becoming God is blessing you too much. You're growing so much, so I don't like you anymore. I used to like you, I used to protect you, but now I need you to get out of my face. And let me tell you, there's times that people will not like you. There's times that people will have jealousy. There's times that, that same thing that happened with Isaac. But we are called to do, we're supposed to do what we're supposed to do. If God is telling you to do something, of course, you have to be obedient to your authorities. But what I'm saying in here to you guys, church, and to you guys, youth, is that when God calls you to do something, don't be surprised. Don't be shocked if difficulties, if tough situations come into your life, just keep going forward. Because look at what Isaac did. Isaac, he didn't fight. He didn't argue with King Abimelech. He said, you know what? I'm just going to go away. So Isaac moved away. And he said, and then he said, you know what? We don't have water. The wells that we had there, the wells that we have built there, they're full of dirt. So we don't have water. And we're no longer in that place that we have a lot of water. So I have an idea. Let's reopen the wells that my father had. Do you guys know how much work requires to open a well back then? Do you guys know how much work? Just think. Before, they were not like, okay, let me get a bobcat so we can, get a big machine and just open the well. You know how much work required to open a well back in the day? You remember when I said no pain, no gain? Can you imagine this guy, Isaac, opening a well and they will fill him with dirt? He was in a place and he was being kicked out of the place that he was being prosperous. But he knew something. He knew that God was with him. And he said, look at what it says here in verse 18. He reopened the wells that his father had dug, which the Philistines had filled after Abraham's death. So the Philistines just not only have jealousy of Isaac, they were upset with Abraham too. And Isaac, he says that instead of complaining, he said that he restored those wells and the names that Abraham had given them. You know what we often do, church, youth? When we look and when we look at something that it becomes difficult, we're not willing to restore those things. We're not willing to fight and to continue to do what we're supposed to do. And let's keep going here. Let's keep going here. Look at what verse 19 says. Isaac's servants also dug and in the Gerar Valley, and they discovered a well of fresh water. But when the shepherds of the Gerar came and claim the spring, this is our water, they say, and they argue over it with Isaac. So Isaac named that well Esek. Let's say it with me together, Esek. Let's say it with me again, Esek, which means argument. So Isaac goes to a different place. He opens the first well. He tried to restore the well, and these people from Gerar, these shepherds, come, and they say, this is our water. And they argue with Isaac. You know what argument means? You know what an argument means? Have you ever had a disagreement with somebody? Have you ever had a verbal disagreement? Have you ever got opposition? Have you ever got an altercation or a violent argument? Have you ever been involved in when you have a different point of view? Have you ever had a different point of view with somebody? Maybe somebody is telling you, you're so religious, that's for back in the day, and you shouldn't be acting like that. We're the new church, and we don't operate like that anymore. But I'm telling you right now, the church hasn't changed. Who has changed is the people. The church is the same church. The church, that what is written is being written. What is in the Bible is in the Bible. And we can go against the Word of God because everything will pass, but the Word of God will last forever. And I'm here to tell you, youth, that there's going to be times that you're going to be caught in a situation of an argument. You're going to have to be caught in a situation, when you're building a well and when you're trying to find fresh water, you're going to find a situation that, Isaac he found a well and he named the well argument. So he said, okay, you know what? I'm going to fight with these guys. I'm going to argue with these guys. If they think that they want to have this argument well or the exact well, let him have it. So he let him have it. So look at verse 21. Isaac's men then, let's say then. Say it with me, church. Then dug another well. So look at that. How much work do you think it was? How much time do you think it was like taking them to dig another well? One day? A few hours? How much time? Now, I want you to think about this. So look at what it says. So they dug another well, but again there was a dispute over it. Another dispute. So Isaac named it Sidnah. Let's say it with me, church. Sidnah, which means hostility. Do you know what the word hostility means? You know what hostility means? Hostility means, synonym words is fighting, conflict, aggression, warfare, war, violence. That's hostility. You know, youth, there's going to be times that you're going to feel like you're fighting by yourself. There's going to be times that you feel like people don't understand what you're doing. There's going to be times that you're going to feel judged. There's going to be times that you feel that no one is there for you. And there's times that you're going to feel like everyone is just you against the world. It's just you against a bunch of people. But what I'm here to tell you today, youth, is that when you understand something, and I want you to read this verse, anything which comes from God is able to overcome the world. Anything that which becomes from God is able to overcome the world. And the power by which have overcome the world is our faith, who is able to overcome the world, but the man who has faith that Jesus is the Son of God. But I like what verse 4 says. Anything which comes from God is able to overcome the world. And guys, and I want to just to kind of like think about this. Anything that comes from God is able to overcome the world. I want you to think about this. I want you to think about this. What do you think God has called you to do? What do you think God has called you to do? What do you think God has called you to play an instrument? What do you think God has for you? What do you think God has called you to do? What do you think that the plans that He has for you? Do we know His plans? Do we understand that we're made to praise Him? Do we understand that everything that He has said about us will actually happen? But what I'm here to tell you today is that you will find yourself in times that you will find opposition, and you will find yourself that you're fighting, and when you're getting up, you're fighting again. And there's times that you're going to find yourself that you open in a well and you're so tired, and you have to keep digging, because God is calling you to persevere and to stay digging, to continue digging, because eventually all these people and everything that you don't see that is actually happening will actually happen, because that's our faith. Because si nació del corazón de Dios, si Dios ha dicho algo, Dios va a hacer que venza al mundo. Y lo que yo te tengo que decir acá es que Isaac look at what it says here, then he dug another well, but again there was a dispute over it. So he named that hostility. And look at what I put here, and dug another well. Let me tell you, and I put, and I told you 3 things that I want to leave in your heart today, youth. One of the things that I want to leave, and one of the things that, I say no pain, no gain. But one of the things that will help you through the process, through the trials, is having perseverance. Perseverance, in the verse that we just read, he says, and then dug another well. And dug another well, he was perseverance. And I found a few quotes about perseverance. Perseverance is the hard work you do after you get tired of doing the hard work you already did. I want to say that again. Perseverance is the hard work you do after you get tired of doing the hard work you already did. Youth, never stop fighting until you arrive your destiny place. Never stop fighting. You know what perseverance is? You never stop fighting. You never quit. You never quit. Isaac, I put myself in his shoes, and I was like, man, he was opening a well, and they were filling it with dirt. He discovered another well, and the shepherds comes, no, this is a well. And you know what Isaac was doing? Okay, all right, guys. All right, so, hey, and he was probably telling his servants, okay, guys, let's just go look for another well. Fun. Let's just, okay, guys, 1, 2, 3, let's start digging again. Let's start digging again. Let's start digging again. Let's start working again. Let's start working again. And they keep working and working and working. Perseverance is the hard work that you do after you get tired of doing it. The hard work that you already did. Let me tell you, you're going to how many of you guys, have you ever feel exhausted? Have you ever feel tired? You know, and I tell the youth, you know, I don't understand why the youth tells me, oh, Carlos, I'm so tired. You guys are you guys are the strength of the church. You guys, you should have a lot of energy. I know that some of you guys don't even go to sleep early. Some of you guys go to sleep super late. But, you know, perseverance. So look at what these two wells means. Esek, we mentioned argument. Sitna, which means hostility. They all had to do with fighting. They all had to do with difficult situations. And he named those wells, and he left those two wells. But look at what happened here. Verse 22. Abandoning that one, again, their well. Abandoning that well, he moved and dug another well. This is the time there was no dispute over. Finally. This is the time that finally there were no fighting with him. So Isaac named that place Rehoboth. Let's say it together. Rehoboth. Which means open space. For he said, at last, the Lord has created us enough space for us to prosper in this land. From there, Isaac moved to Beersheba. So look at what happened. Finally, they get to the third, after so many wells, after so many trials, after so many attempts, after so many times, they finally find a well, which means open space. And it says from there, Isaac moved to Beersheba. So look at what he says. After that one, he moved again. You know, something that I challenge you to do, quit arguing. You know, a lot of times and if I said in the beginning, no pain, no gain. You know, when you're going through pain, the worst thing you can do is arguing. The worst you can do is say, you know, I don't want to do it. You got to just keep pushing. And just don't, let's say if you've ever been to the gym, have you ever done something that is very difficult? If you're called to be worship, to be a worship in the worship team, if you're called to preach the gospel, don't think it's going to happen easy. Don't think the first time that you stand up here, you're going to feel like so eloquent. You're going to feel like you have so many words to say, but you keep pushing hard. And because you know if God calls you to do it, you must do it, and you must not quit. And you must persevere. And guess what? You know, when people come and tell you, you know what, you're going to move, you have always two choices. You have two options. Either you argue with the other person or you quit arguing. How many of you guys could say amen to that? When people tell you, look, what you're doing is you suck. When they tell you, you know what, you can't do it. You know, either you have an option. You can say, you know what, you suck, and you start arguing, or you can just remain quiet and keep doing it. You always have that. You always have. In order for a dispute to arise, you need two people to fight. You know, the other day, you're going to find this funny, and I think I shared this before. The other day, I was at the gym at the last hour, right before they were going to close. And listen to what happened here. There was this man, right, who was they closed at midnight. And this guy who finished work, he's just literally finished working out, and he said, I'm gonna shower. And he started taking his clothes, and I'm gonna shower. So the guy who comes and cleans said, sir, you cannot shower. And the guy was like, I'm gonna shower. And they start arguing. And the guy was like getting undressed, almost half naked, trying to get a shower. You can imagine. And I'm just like there, standing with Chamo. We were both at the gym at that late, right? And then we just and they start arguing. And he's like, okay, if you don't let me shower, I'm going to call the police. And then if you don't let me, and they start fighting and fighting and fighting. Then the other guy, you know what? I pay a lot of money in this membership. This is a fancy gym. You're going to get fired. And they start arguing. The guy cleaning, and I remember the guy was cleaning, putting his trash can with the broom. No, you're not going forward. And the guy with a towel, no, I'm going to go shower. I'm going to go shower. And it was like, and I started laughing. And then guess what? And they were fighting and they were arguing. No, my way. I want to do it. No, I want to shower. He's going to take me 5 minutes. No, sir, you're not going to shower. I have to go. To make it short, the guy grabbed the phone. I'm calling the police right now. He called the police. And then we left with Chamo and we just started talking. And then we just said, let's just sit here to see how long this argument is going to take. And we're just talking with Chamo. We're just, Chamo is my friend, and we're just chilling, and the police comes, and then we're watching them, and another police comes. It's almost 1:30 in the morning, and another police comes and say, Chamo, let's get out of here, man. So so you understand my point here, is that the guy who was doing the cleaning, he said, you know what? He could have said, you know what? I'm just going to go clean somewhere else, shower real quick, and he could have gone home early. Because he was so arrogant and he wanted to argue, he was like, no, I'm going to fight my way, and my way. The guy probably went home, and probably he lost his job because he it's about customer service. He probably went home around 4 in the morning. And the guy who freaking want to get a shower, he could have just said, you know what? I'm just going to go home and shower there. But he probably ended up staying until 3 in the morning because he was arguing and he wanted to get it his way. So who won the battle there? Who won the battle? No one. What do we do often? Hey, you can do that. Yes, I can do it. Hey, you can do that. No. You know what you have to do? Like Isaac. If you know God is with you, just let him be. Don't argue. Eventually, God will raise you, and God will put you in a place that you become an authority. And when you have the authority that God is going to give you, and then you can do what you think is best. But you know what we often do? Isaac was saying, you know what? Persevere. Keep digging. They put dirt in your wall. Keep digging. And then people come and argue. Okay, quit arguing. First thing, perseverance. Second thing, quit arguing. What? People tell you, no, you can't do that, man. No. Okay, I cannot do it. Now, look at what Isaac did. Look at what I put on the top here. Abandoning that one, Isaac move again. If I would be Isaac, I'm like, are you out of your mind, dude? I just find my open space, the world, and I have to move again? Are you crazy? But he just moved. Look at what happened in verse 24, where the Lord appeared to him that night. So after he moved to Beersheba, it says that the Lord appeared to him that night. I am God, your father, of your father Abraham, he said. Don't be afraid. I am with you, and I will bless you. I will multiply, for I am with you. I will multiply your descendants, and they will become a great nation. I will do this because of my promise to Abraham, my servant. Then Isaac built an altar there and worshiped the Lord. He set up his camp at the place, and his servants dug another well. But look, so he moved again. But after he quit arguing, right after he quit arguing, the word says that the next chapter where the Lord appeared to him. You know what? When you quit arguing, the Lord is going to come into your life and say, you know what? I got you. You don't have to argue. I'm going to do what I need to do. And the word says that, that right after he quit, he abandoned that well, and then he didn't say anything. He just went, and the Lord appeared to him. And look at what it says, appeared to him on the night of his arrival. And he told him, Isaac, you know what? I am the God of your father Abraham. Do not be afraid, for I am with you and I will bless you. I have already done it. I bless you. Everywhere you go, you dig a hole and you dig up for a while and you always find water. People come and try to bring dirt and they try to be, and you don't argue and you just persevere. I'm with you. I got you. And then Isaac built an altar. He did an altar. He was grateful because God appeared to him. And I can just, me ponía a pensar que se sintió tan bendecido de ver al Señor. Y me ponía a pensar cómo él se sintió. Y el Señor le dice, don't be afraid. And then Isaac built an altar there. And then he worshiped the Lord. And he set up his camp at the place. And his servants dug another hole. And look at what happened after he moved from Beersheba. So look at what happened here. So he built another hole. So after he did that, right? And I'm almost finishing here. One day, you remember King Abimelech? The guy who used to like Isaac? You remember the King Abimelech? The king that I was talking to you early? And I'm reading a lot of scriptures today, but I want you to listen to this. One day, King Abimelech came from Gerar with his advisors. I don't know how to say that name. Ahuzat. And also Pichol, his army commander. And then I can just think about this, right? Now that Isaac is on the open space, now that God has given me the well that he was waiting for so long, and and look at King Abimelech comes again, the king of the Philistines, and comes again, and he says, why you have come here? Isaac asked. You obviously hate me since you kicked me off of your land. So Isaac was like, man, have it ever happened to you that someone that they didn't like you and they hate you, then all of a sudden they come to you and they want to have a conversation with you? And if it hasn't happened, it might happen, youth. But you know why? How is that going to happen? No, if you really follow what I'm telling you here, there's going to be times that you got to just persevere and continue doing God's work. And you got to quit arguing with other people, because eventually you'll find that the Lord will appear to you and He will give you His blessing. And when He gives you His blessing, everything that is born from God will defeat the world. And look at what happened here. They reply, we can plainly see the Lord that is with you. So we want to enter into a sworn treaty with you. Let's make a covenant. So King Abimelech, who used to hate Isaac, who didn't like Isaac, realized that God was with Isaac. I'm going to tell you here something, youth. If God is with you, people sooner or later will realize that God is with you. The only person you have to please is God. The only person that you have to obey is the Lord. You have to obey your authorities, but who you have to obey, which is the law above all laws, is the God that I serve. And that's what I have learned, that I have to please Him before I please anybody in this earth. And I have to love Him more than anybody, that I love anybody else here. I have to be loyal to Him so I could become loyal to my wife, that I could become a great dad. And that's what I'm here to tell you today, that you might be tired because you are fighting and fighting and you're not seeing the results that you're expecting to see. But I'm here to tell you that you got to keep digging. And if people are throwing dirt to you, keep digging. If people are arguing with you, quit arguing. Persevere and keep digging and keep digging. Because the Lord is with you, church. And I was asking the Lord, God, what do you want me to tell these youth this afternoon? And I'm already 45 minutes and 14 seconds. If Eric can help me with the piano here. And you see, I got this. And it's just like when I was feeling like just the Spirit, but I just the word is being given to here, youth. And I was just like asking the Lord this afternoon, how do I lay this word into your heart? And you know what God really spoke to me? It was just one thing that really spoke to me. That, when I was sitting there, it said, Carlos, no pain, no gain. No pain, no gain. When you go through pain, I'm making you grow. When you go through difficulties, I'm making you a better person. When you feel alone, I'm making you understand that you're not alone because I am there for you. And I was just like, God, even if it's painful, just help me to go through this pain. But you will not go through the pain alone. You will go through the pain with Him. And He's a rock. He's the place that we find restoration. And Isaac was probably tired. He was digging after digging. But the word says that it says here that the Lord appeared to him the night of his arrival, and God told him, I am the God of your father Abraham. And then King Abimelech came later, and they told him, we understand that God is with you. Let's make a covenant. And look at what he says early next morning. If I would be Isaac, guys, if I would be Isaac, I would be like, you know what? Okay, this is the time. All right, payback, King Abimelech. Payback. You know that God is with me. This is payback, okay? You realize that God is with me, okay? You want to serve me now. I was waiting. I was waiting for this moment to happen. This is the time you paying back Abimelech, because you realize that God is with me. That's probably what I would have done. You know what? Isaac didn't do that. Look at what it says. Early the next morning, they each took a solemn oath not to interfere with each other. And then Isaac sent them home again, and they left him in peace. And they left him in peace. And I was thinking how powerful forgiveness is. Isaac sent them home again, and they left him in peace. How many of you guys know forgiveness will set you free? How many of you guys know that forgiveness will set your soul free, your mind, your body? And I finish with this testimony. There's this pastor who God used him to heal people. And this woman came, and she came to him, hey, will you pray for me? I have a tumor on my neck. Big tumor. I've been to surgery, they have taken out, it keeps growing again, and it's not cancer, but it keeps growing again. So this pastor was like, when did that happen? Well, that happened around 8 years ago. And the pastor was very guided by the Spirit. And he said, woman, if you don't mind me ask, this question that's not related with the tumor that you have. What happened to you 7 years ago? And the woman started thinking. And she said, well, I don't remember. The only thing that really did happen is just I went through a divorce, but I don't talk to this guy anymore. And then God spoke to this pastor, and he said, you know what? I'm going to pray for you, but I'm going to pray for you so you forgive your ex-husband. Because that tumor that you have is, you need to forgive. And as soon as this pastor started praying for this woman was like, okay, I want you to repeat this prayer. I forgive, and say the name. And the woman couldn't say the name. And at the moment that the woman was able to confess, I forgive this person, and said the name, while the pastor was laying hands on her neck, the tumor, her neck was all swallowed, started coming down. And God did the miracle. And this pastor was teaching that how important forgiveness is. Because a lot of times we can get sick because we are not forgiving. We can be stuck, and we cannot find progress because we have lack of forgiveness. And what really caught me here is that very day, Isaac, after he had forgiven, he sent Abimelech in peace. That very day, Isaac's servants came and told him about a new well that they had dug. We found water that is clean. So Isaac named the well, Sivah, which means oath, an oath. And to this day, the town they grew up there is called Beersheba, which means the well of oath. So guess what happened? As soon as Isaac sent him in peace and forgive, a new well got open. And you know what happened to our lives, youth here? When we forgive, a new well will be open. when we forgive, a new well will be open. A new water will come. A new water will come. Fresh water will come. But a lot of times we don't want to forgive the people who have done wrong to us. We don't want to forgive our dad. We don't want to forgive our mom. We don't want to forgive our friends. We don't want to forgive. But you know, if God has forgiven you, ¿quiénes somos nosotros para no perdonar? ¿Quiénes somos nosotros para no perdonar? Y lo que yo quiero acá es dejarte en tu corazón es esto. Y yo te lo decía al principio, no pain, no gain. ¿Por qué les digo esto, chicos? Les decía esto porque una de las cosas que Dios me ha enseñado en este caminar es que pasar por dolor es necesario. Pasar por dolor es necesario a veces. ¿Saben para qué? Porque Dios sabe, el oro es probado en fuego. El oro es probado en fuego. Y lo que Dios quiere acá es que entendamos que para poder llegar al lugar donde Dios nos llamó a llegar, necesitamos pasar por momentos difíciles. Pero 3 cosas que quiero que te queden en tu corazón hoy: perseverance, quit arguing, and forgiveness. If you want something to help you to this race that God has set before you, just work on that. Perseverance. Quit arguing. Don't argue anymore with God. Don't argue with your parents anymore. And forgive. Work and forgive the people who have done wrong to you. I want you to close your eyes. Took a lot of 50 minutes. Hope I'm getting a little better here. Mamá. Quiero que cierres tus ojos y dile si el Señor te habló en esta noche. Señor, I've been going through a lot. There's times, God, that I don't understand. Decirle, Señor, there's times, hay momentos que no entiendo lo que estoy pasando, Señor. Pero solo quiero perseverar, Señor. Solo quiero perseverar, Señor. I don't want to argue anymore, God. I don't want to be able to forgive, God. Señor, yo te suplico, Señor, que yo quiero que te pongas de pie, que todos nos pongamos de pie. Que todos nos pongamos de pie. Con sus ojos cerrados, le pidamos al Espíritu Santo, le pidamos al Rey de Justicia que nos enseñe. Que nos enseñe. Y dile, Señor Jesús, y repite esta oración, decirle, Señor Jesús, sé que este caminar no va a ser fácil, Señor. Bienaventurados los que sufrimos por tu causa, Señor. Bienaventurados los que hemos de ser perseguidos por ti, por tu causa, Señor. Señor, te damos todo, te doy mis planes, decirle, Señor, te doy mis planes, te doy mi corazón, te doy mis sueños, te doy todo lo que tengo, Señor. Y lo único que te pido, Señor, es que estés conmigo, Señor. Dile, Señor, esta palabra quiero que se haga vida en mí, Señor. Que se haga vida en mí, Señor, y que todo lo que estoy pasando, Señor, en los momentos tan difíciles que me encuentro, que te pueda ver solamente a ti, Señor. Ayúdame a mantenerme viéndote solo a ti, Señor. Ayúdame a mantenerme solo viéndote a ti, Señor. Como Isaac, Señor. Como Isaac, God, that even his walls were being full of dirt, God. And the Philistines used to come and just like fill them with dirt. He went and dig another well. Help us, Father, to be like that. That even though that a tribulation and trials will come into my life, I will continue digging. And I will continue doing what I'm called to do. And even if I don't feel like I can do it well, that I'm not good enough, that I will do it because you have called me to do it, Lord. I am here and I'm in your hands. Decirle, estoy en tus manos, Señor. Todos con sus ojos cerrados. Decirle, yo estoy en tus manos, Señor. Estoy en tus manos, Señor. Y aunque me sienta solo, Señor, estoy en tus manos, Señor. Y si tú me llamaste, Señor, voy a continuar. Y dame las fuerzas para continuar. Porque tú fuiste el que me llamaste. Y si el Señor te está hablando en este momento, decirle, Señor, tú me das las fuerzas. Tú me das las fuerzas para continuar este caminar. Porque no estoy solo, sino tú estás conmigo. En el nombre de Jesús. Amén y amén.
No busques más, buscando adoradores está.